Hello and welcome back everybody to another episode of Code with Lilly Code. Today we are on day 50. Would you believe it? We are 50% through this project, through the 100 days. I'm absolutely delighted and we are continuing to learn about Kubernetes. So thank you so much for joining me on another episode, and let's get straight into this. So where we left off last time was we were just creating our secret file so we could start to deploy our application. So we've created a MongoDB application. Sorry, there's a bit of work going on outside. I hope it's not too loud. So yeah, I really hope that isn't too much of a disturbance, but we will continue on. And I'm creating my secret file here. We just did this in the last episode, and also I have my Windows PowerShell here, which is the recommended way to run the kubectl commands, because when I was running some of this in with bash, with my git bash, it was telling me I was in the wrong terminal. So a PowerShell is recommended, or at least that's what's working. And I did figure out how to zoom in, because that's why I was using the git bash. I couldn't zoom in. So the way you zoom in on your PowerShell is you just hold down CTRL. Normally the plus key will zoom in. That zooms in on a bash anyway, on your git bash profile, which is just another terminal. But for this PowerShell, the way you do it is you hold down CTRL and you use your scroll on your mouse. So if you don't have a scroll, I can't help you. No, I don't know, to be honest. I just figured that out now today, but at least you guys can see, excuse me, at least you guys can see what I'm doing here now, so I can scroll in with my scroll on my mouse. So great, we've learned another thing as well. So we're running along here now. We have our files all set up. So I'm here in my YouTube folder. I have my Kubernetes folder here, and then here's our Mongo Kubernetes with Nana, and we have our secret file and our deployment. And then in here I think that we should have like an actual secret created, because we ran the command to apply it. So therefore I think it should have populated some information in this. So here we go. Anyway, this is our secret file that we have, which is the secret file we've created, and this contains secret information. So we have our username and our password, which we have encoded with bit64. In order to encode these, you don't just put in plain text, you encode it, and then you can run a command which will apply these changes. So we'll do all that now in a moment. So let's just continue and watch this video and see where we're going, what Nana's going to tell us to do next. So here we go.
Deployment if we're going to reference the secret inside of this. So the order of creation matters, because if I'm creating a deployment that references a secret that doesn't exist yet, I'm going to get an error. So it's not going to start. Since we have our first component, let's actually go ahead and create our secret from a configuration file. So again, I'm going to go to my console. Let's actually clear all this, and I'm going to go into the folder where I'm creating all these configuration files. I called it Kubernetes configuration, and here I have both of my files. So I'm going to do kubectl apply mongo secret and secret created. So I'm going to do kubectl get secret, and I should see my secret has been created. This is something created by default with a different type, and this is our secret here. So now that we have our secrets, we can reference it inside of our deployment configuration file. So let's go back, and this is how you reference contents, specific key value, data of secret. So instead of value, we're going to say value. Configuration secret before the deployment.
keep turning down my microphone in order to not have feedback, which going in circles here. Hopefully it's fine. So let's just see what's going down around the town. Okay, so
now we have only written configuration files. We haven't created anything yet in the cluster. So this is just preparation work. And we have to create secret before the deployment if we're gonna reference the secret inside of this. So the order of creation matters. Because if I'm creating a deployment that references a secret that doesn't exist yet, I'm gonna get an error, so it's not gonna start. Since we have our first component, let's actually go ahead and create our secret from a configuration file. So again, I'm gonna go to my console. Let's actually clear all this, and I'm gonna go into the folder where I'm creating all these configuration files. I called it Kubernetes configuration, and here I have both of my files. So I'm gonna do kubectl apply mongo secret and secret created. So I'm gonna do kubectl get secret, and I
okay, so yeah, we still have that error. So I did create the secret, but then when I try to get it, I'm getting that it was unable to connect. So what do we need to do? I don't really know. So I'm going to just go to kubectl, or let's just go to, kubectl and just check like documentation, and let's see if we can see, do we need something running? Should something be already running before we're trying to retrieve this stuff? What is going on, mate? Tell me, because I'm lost. So, what is Kubernetes? How to use Kubernetes? Install kubectl on Windows. Let's have a look at that. Set up a cluster. We're just doing that now. Walk through the basics. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Installation we have installed. Install on Chocolatey. We have done this. Mamma mia. So let's, I don't think we have a cluster though. Okay, before you begin, Mac network adapter. Check required ports. Okay, so let's check this and just see what happens for the crack. Okay. Moving swiftly on. No, I'm only messing. I'm just not really sure. Maybe we just need to do something prior to doing this. So creating a cluster. Let's just start from the cluster. Start a Kubernetes cluster using an online terminal. Okay. Oh, an interactive tutorial. I must do that anyway, actually. So let's just try to, we've been getting stuff as well. So what have we been getting? Let's try kubectl help and then see if we can get one of the things. See what the things we can get are. So we can apply, patch, replace, wait. We can, these are all the things we can do. So create, expose, run, set, explain, get. We cannot get our kubectl get secret. So let's just, okay, so it actively refused it. So I'm just going to try one more time because I'm sure I did this last time. So let's just do it in our git bash just to check, even though, you know, I just said that git bash wasn't giving us these results, but look, it's worth a whirl. So kubectl get secret. No secrets to be found, my dear. We shall find out soon enough. Okay, so now I'm going to search this because something's missing. So, and we do not need all of this. Target machine actively refused it, and kubectl get secret unable to connect. That should be enough information. So unable to connect, and then I also just want to say Windows actively refused Windows. Okay. I think you might have mixed out to configure the cluster. No connection. Unable to connect. So let's have a look at this Stack Overflow answer and just see. Yes, yes. I think you might need to, you missed out to configure the cluster. You need to run the below command. It creates a config file. After that, run kubectl get nodes. Okay, so let's just try this because it seems like perhaps. It seems like perhaps, and everybody has things crossed out here. Like, I wonder if I should be crossing things out. But anyway, so my to-do list web app, get credentials, resource group, microservices with ASK demo name. Like, what file is this correlating with, you know? Where are you getting those names? So you're getting it from my AKS cluster and my resource group. But like, I don't really know what those things are just yet. Try running the command line. But if you're still receiving the error, try running command line as an administrator. Okay. So let's just try this Cubeconfig and see what's going on in it. So I have my terminal here. I'm just going to run Cubeconfig and see. Okay, so what about if we cd into our documents, into our YouTube, and into our Kubernetes, because this is the only place I've created this folder just yet. And then let's try and run that again. Okay. Try running command line as an admin. More information on the config can be here. Running command line as an administrator solved the issue. Okay. So let's try and run that command in here. Oh yeah, well I don't need that leading slash. Okay. So, organizing a cluster, access using Cubeconfig files. Okay, so you can see that I'm just having a quick scan. By default, kubectl looks for a file named config in the home cube directory. Okay, well I do not have that. You can specify other Cubeconfig files by setting the Cubeconfig environment variable or setting the Cubeconfig flag for a step-by-step instruction for creating and specifying Cubeconfig files. See configure access to multiple clusters. Let's try and see what config we have. So let's do the view, because it seems like we definitely need a configuration. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a kubectl command working for me. Okay, so yes, something's working. So I ran kubectl config view, and we can see here we have got our file there. So that's great. It is picking up the file. It's doing something right. So that's good. I'm happy with that. And then, right, so, so what are we trying to do then? So we have our, we're trying to get our secret. This isn't working. We can't create our secret either. but we have our config. It did pull up the config, so okay. The output might be from a single Cubeconfig file. Yes, it is the output of a single file for us. Here are the results. So we are not merging files because we only have one. Determine the context to use based on this first hit of the chain. Use the context command line flag if it works. Use the current context from the merged Cubeconfig files. Okay, so I think maybe also if we do this to say kubectl configure the current context as the context we want to use, because we have got some configuration, it's shown to us here. So let's just tell it use this context. Examples. Okay, so we need to pass in our name. So the name that we want to use is our MongoDB, I presume. So if I open up, yeah, this is the name. So let's open file. We just want to open up that other file because I think maybe we need to just pass the name of I'll show you now. I don't even know how to verbalize it because clearly I'm not saying anything. So I'll just open up the other file. So our deployment, we have our deployment file. I'll open this over to the left. So split up left. So now that's open over there. And then right, so, and then we have our secret file here. And is there a common name between these? No, this is our deployment. This is our secret. This is our Mongo deployment. This is our secret. So what name do I pass? What's my context? I presume it's going to be my deployment. So let's just try that, right? So I'll pass that in. No context exists with the name MongoDB deployment. What's my context? I don't know, mate. So let's try MongoDB. This is the name of the application. And if not, we're going to have to do a bit more reading, I think. Because we're just going in circles, ain't we? So, okay, baby. Cool. So, let's keep reading. We have seen our configuration. That's great. As described, the output might be from a single Cubeconfig file. It might be the result of merging many files. For example, of setting a Cubeconfig environment a variable. Guys, I don't know. Okay, so this is if you're merging. Yeah. So we're not merging. Let's just skip this. Oh, there's nothing left. So let's go back up here. So choose the current context. Yeah, we only have... Each context has 3 parameters: cluster, namespace, and user. So we haven't passed anything in here. It seems like we should have a cluster, namespace, and a user. Shish kebab. Right. Let's see. I'm gonna just watch for another moment. So she's got her secret. We need a secret. Okay, maybe I'll just go back a bit. What else did she do in here? Okay.
In this video, we're going to deploy 2 applications, MongoDB and MongoExpress. And I chose these 2 because it demonstrates really well. So the first thing that I said we're going to do...
Sorry guys, just have to try and figure out what's going on. I think I should have something running. That's what I think is the problem, because the config is there. Like, do we need to have something running to be telling it to do things with things? As in, should we have a background process running if we want to try and create a secret file? Tell it, like, you know, kubectl run. Now create our configuration from our secret. I'm not really sure. So I just need to go back a little bit and figure this out, and then we will get right on it. So please bear with me while I figure this out. Okay.
Is create a MongoDB deployment. I usually create it in an editor. So I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code, and I already explained the syntax of here below the image of MongoDB. So we're just going to leave the name of the image, and it's going to pull the latest one, and that's what we want. So here I'm going to specify what port I want to expose. So ports, that's the attribute name, and container port. And that's the standard port, so I'm going to leave it. And below that, I'm going to specify those two environmental variables. So one is called, let's see what it's called. It's Mongo initdb root username. And here is going to be
also opening up that file, whatever that file was that she just had open. We need this as well, because that's what she's following. So at least I can read through the correct thing and not be opening up just a load of random things. So I'll find that file now.
what port I want to expose. So ports, that's the attribute name, and container port. And that's the standard port, so I'm going to leave it. And below that, I'm going to specify those two environmental variables. So one is called, let's see what it's called. It's Mongo.
So let's open this up and maybe close everything else because it's getting a bit crazy. So hub.docker.com. Okay, cool. So this is what Nana was just looking at. So environmental variables. Here we go. Okay. Yes, okay, so when you start the Mongo image, you can adjust the initialization of the MongoDB instance by passing, just let me make sure this is very viewable for you guys too, because you know. Cool. Okay, so, yeah, cool. So when using the Mongo image, you can adjust the initialization of the MongoDB instance by passing one or more environmental variables on the Docker run command line. Do note that none of the variables below will have any effect if you start the container with the data directory that already contains a database. Okay, so okay, so yes, we've passed these things in. We're not doing it through the command line with Docker like this, but these are the things you need to initialize the Mongo database.
Initdb root username. And here is going to be a value, so we're going to actually leave it blank for now. And the other one is called init root password. And we're going to leave that blank as well, just value. And
Guys, hey guys. So, as we already know, indentation is extremely important with YAML files. And here I go again, indenting things incorrectly. So we can see here we have app MongoDB match labels above it. So we must be down here. We can see selector is indented 1. So let's go from the bottom up. Yeah, so this is where we are, okay? So we have our selector, match labels indented, app indented, MongoDB, template back 1, 2 levels at the same level as selector. Okay, then we come in one, metadata, come in another labels, come in another app, pointing to MongoDB. Then we go back 1, 2 levels, 1, 2 levels. We have our spec file or our specification for our pods. This is the specs for our pods because it's underneath the replicas. The replicas is how many pods you want. So then this information is about the pods. So containers on the same level this hyphen should be. So let's move everything back 1 because this hyphen is directly underneath containers. Then we have our name, MongoDB, image is underneath name, ports is underneath image, MongoDB, snap. Okay, this should be in line with ports. Let's move that back 1. So now we have ports, container port, ports, container port. We have our environment. This is what was wrong last time with our secret file. Anyway, we had things indented incorrectly and it was causing us this exact error. So perhaps that's all it was again. So let's bring this back again. Let's bring it back. So now we are back again. And now our file is actually set up as she has it set up anyway, and hers is clearly working, and this does cause errors. So let's try and do that again and just see. I'm hopeful. Get secret. Get it. Come on. Give me a secret. Oh, crud. So we will just... Okay, we will try and create our secret again, which I don't expect to work, but look. Worth a whirl, worth a whirl. So we're in our Kubernetes, we're in the wrong folder. Yeah, we're in the wrong folder, my friends. Whoop, whoop, do, 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 do. So let's do an ls, check where we're at. We are in this Mongo Kubernetes with Nana folder. We're in the wrong folder, we're at the wrong level. So if we cd into our Mongo folder, then we try and create our secret. I'm really hopeful now. So let's try and get it first because we should have left off where we already had our secret. So let's see. Come on. Oh, brilliant. So instead we will try and create it again. Let's just see, because we were in the wrong place in everything. So let me just show you that in my Finder to make sure that this is obvious for everybody, as now the penny has dropped for me. So we're in our Kubernetes folder here, and then in here we have some Nginx files that we were creating previously, and then we also have this Mongo Kubernetes with Nano, which is the current bit that we're doing at the moment. So I'm trying to reach these Mongo secret and Mongo deployment files, but I'm not even in the right place to get them. All I have in here, this is where my command prompt was ending, where we currently were. We were then within Kubernetes, and Kubernetes has this stuff in it. So it doesn't actually have the Mongo secret.yaml file to access to begin with. So that was a big boo-boo on my part. These things happen. This is coding. You know, keep a cool head, try and work through it. You know, you'll figure it out eventually. This is just all part and parcel of it. Maybe someone a bit more experienced might have spotted that in 5 seconds, and then sometimes these things just catch people up and you can be stuck on them. So just don't lose faith and keep your head together and continue on. And if you're really lost, go for a little walk and come back to it, because things like this, as soon as you sit back down, you're like, I've been in the wrong folder this whole time, and we're half an hour into this and we've been just in the wrong folder. But that's fine. This is all learning. This is the reality of day 50. Halfway through, I think it's still progress. We're still going great. We're learning what not to do, which is how you learn what to do. So we're within our Kubernetes folder here, and now again I'm going to try and run the kubectl command and apply, which is saying do something. You pass it the flag F and then the file that you want to create. So I think this is for file, but so kubectl, apply the file, mongo secret.yaml, and now we're within the right place that we can at least figure out where that file is. So what I'll actually just do as well, see if I can do this, is, so no, so I'm just going to let it autocomplete so there's no way that this is spelt wrong or something, and see if this works now. So just let me make that more obvious for you guys, put it where you can see it, and I will reduce this down. So we're passing in the command here now. We can see we're in the right folder here. We're within Lilly Code, Documents, YouTube, Kubernetes, Mongo Kubernetes with Nana, which is the name of this file. And now in here, we want to apply the file mongosecret.yaml, which now we can actually see there. So it might be able to apply it now if we hit enter. So let's see. And I don't think I need this leading thing, so I'm just going to get rid of it, because you just give the file name. Come on, mate. Right, still not solved, but look, we're inching closer. At least we are in the correct folder now. So let's just see what else Nana is going to do here.
Once we have the values here, we're going to have a complete deployment for MongoDB. This is basically all we need. Now, note that this is a configuration file that is going to be checked into a repository. So usually you wouldn't write admin username and password inside the configuration file. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a secret from where we will reference the values. So meaning that the secret is going to live in Kubernetes and nobody will have access to it in a Git repository. So we're going to save this incomplete deployment file, first of all. So let's call it Mongo deployment. Or let's just call it Mongo YAML and save it here so that we get the syntax highlight. And now, before we apply this configuration, we're going to create the secret where the root username and password will live. So let's create a new file, and I'm going to paste in the configuration of a secret, which is actually pretty simple. So we have a kind secret, then we have a metadata, which again is just simply the name. We're going to call it MongoDB secret. The type opaque is actually a default type, which is the most basic key value secret type. Other types, for example, include TLS certificates, so you can create a secret specifically with the TLS certificate type, and a couple of more types. But mostly you're going to use the default one, and these are the actual contents. So you have the data, and here you have key value pairs, which of course are the names you come up with. So we're going to specify username, or we can actually call it Mongo root username, and we're going to call it Mongo root password. And here's the thing.
Let's just double check we are in line with Nana here. So we have our API version, our kind, our metadata, indent 1, name. Go back 1, type. We might have found a problem. I'm messing about. Don't know what I'm doing in the house today. Oh my God. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. So let's see. Back up again. Come on, baby. Is it time for that walk yet? No, I'm only joking. Look, it's all good in the hood. We will continue on. Let's keep watching. But we did notice that, yes, that the type was in the wrong. It was indented wrong. So I actually quite like how she has hers indented. What's she doing? Spaces 4. I'm going to copy that because me likey. So indent using spaces, and we will indent use 4 spaces, and then we'll just save. And should this not re-indent? Don't know. Now it's doing 4. Ay, that's messy. If it's not going to auto-save, we best go back to 2 so we don't have different ones everywhere. But I'm actually going to go to 4 in future because that's easier to read. Her file is, you know, in my eyes anyway. So you can just see the difference there. One of Nana's indentations is further in. Mine is half that size, and the reason is because down here you can see in her IDE she's indenting by 4 spaces, whereas I'm only indenting by half that, 2 spaces, which you cannot see, my friends. Oh no.
This is Lisa, a 49-year-old.
It's alright, Lisa, stay where you
Values
are. We don't want you around for the moment. This is Lisa, 49, would you believe? Good for you, Lisa. Still here, still kicking, spring chicken. You know, doesn't matter what age you are, if you're still here, you're doing all right. That's my take on it all. You know, as a 30-year-old, if I make it to Lisa, I'll be happy. Sorry, Lisa. Apologies. So, yeah, so we can see I'm doing 2 spaces, whereas Nana is doing 4 spaces. So that's just why there's a slight difference in the indentation there. It's just the configuration. But how many indentations you have is very important in these files. And we had got one too many on our type. So, okay, let's just see what else she's going to do here. And maybe we might pick something else up.
In these key value pairs are not plain text. So when we are creating a secret, the value must be base 64 encoded. So the way you can do that, the simplest way is go to your terminal. So here I'm going to say echo -n, very important option, don't leave it out. Otherwise it's not going to work. And here I'm going to put a plain text value that I want. So I'm just going to go with just username, whatever. Of course, you can have something more secretive here. And I'm going to base 64 encode it. And the value that I get here, I'm going to copy it into the secret configuration as a value. And I'm going to do the same with password. So again, I'm just going to go with simple password. Obviously, you want to have something more secure. And I'm going to copy that as a value here and save it as mongosecret.yaml. Okay, now we have only written configuration files. We haven't created anything yet in the cluster. So this is just preparation work. And we have to create secret before the deployment if we're going to reference the secret inside of this. So the order of creation matters. Because if I'm creating a deployment that references a secret that doesn't exist yet.
I also just want to go up and check the top of this file because we only confirmed the bottom. So I'm just going to pause.
I'm going to copy it into the secret configuration as a value. And I'm going to do the same with password. So again, I'm just going to go with simple password. Obviously, you want to have something more secure. And I'm going to copy that as a value here and save it as mongosecret.yaml. Okay. Now, we have only written configuration files. We haven't created anything yet in the cluster. So this is just preparation work. And we have to create secret before the deployment if we're going to reference the secret inside of this. So the order of creation matters. Because if I'm creating a deployment that secret.yaml. Okay. Now, we have only written configuration files. We haven't created anything yet in the cluster. So this is just preparation work. And we have to create secret before the deployment if we're going to reference the secret inside of this. So the order of creation matters. Because if I'm creating a deployment.
Okay, so let's just double check the top of this file as well, because we have double checked the bottom. So we have our API version, yes, apps v1, kind, deployment, metadata, indented one name, labels, indent another app. Okay, then we have spec, indent one. How come she has this one indented at 2 spaces? That's unusual. Well, now it's 2. Okay. Cool. She must have changed it like in the middle of the video recording. Maybe she thought it was clearer because it did look a bit clearer. So then we have name, MongoDB, labels, app, spec, replica, selector in one, match labels in one, app name, MongoDB. So I'm just here, template in one, metadata, labels, app, 1, 2, back 2, underneath metadata, spec, containers, name, image ports, yeah, container port, environment, okay.
That references a.
Yeah, so that's all looking good, guys. That is all looking all right, innit? Why ain't you working then? Tell me. So we're clear. We will just let's give it another whirl. So mongosecret.yaml. Kubectl. Let's double check the command that she's going to type in. I'll pause it when she's the command in as well, because actually I don't think we should have anything running. Just to have these files there, kubectl installed, and to try and spin this up. This should work. as far as from what I'm gathering as we're going through. So let's have a look. And it's not given out because we already have the secret, because I did think we did this last time, but it's given us an error, can't connect at all. It's not saying, oh, you have a secret, so we'll figure it out. So
secret that doesn't exist yet, I'm gonna get an error, so it's not gonna start. Since we have our first component, let's actually go ahead and create our secret from a configuration file. So again, I'm gonna go to my console. Let's actually clear all this, and I'm gonna go into the folder where I'm creating all these configuration files. I called it Kubernetes configuration, and here I have both of my files. So
just for sanity's sake, let's cancel this. Let's clear. Let's check what we have in here. So there is our Mongo secret.yaml, and we have a Mongo deployment.yaml, but she has just called that mongo.yaml. So okay, we are in the right place. Let's see what this command is and run it then. And then if that doesn't work, I've actually just had a brainwave. I did run this successfully at the end of the last video, so perhaps it just can't run it again. And it's not actually about the connection, because previously wrong indentations in those files was giving that same connection error. So I don't trust the connection error, because wrong indentations will tell you it can't connect, which probably is the right error, but to me it just means that it may not actually be what I would consider a connection as source. Like, there could be something else wrong, aka, you know, indentation wrong in a file, which I wouldn't have thought that error would have described, but clearly it does. Now I know that. So perhaps already having created the secret, that's the error that you get. So I'll just continue to the next step and see whether that runs successfully, and then we could be on to a winner. We're gonna win in the end anyway, guys. We're getting our way there. We're making our way. It's all learning. So let's continue.
I'm gonna do kubectl apply Mongo secret.
Okay, so let's now run our command and make sure. So kubectl, yes, apply flag -f -f. That's the hyphen is usually signifying a flag. Then we have Mongo secret dot YAML sec or et. And rather than comparing it with this, what we should really be comparing it with is our own file name, because that's what we're looking for. We've happened to have called them the same thing, but if we had a spelling error here and we reflected that spelling error here, it would work. So because it's just, you're just calling the file that you have, you're trying to apply the file that you've created, so it's important that it's the file you have created. So we'll hit enter. I don't have faith now that this is going to work, but I'm going to continue, because let's see what she does next, and I have faith in that. So
and secret created. So I'm gonna do kubectl get secret, and
so we already know the next command, actually, don't we? We did try this as well. So kubectl get secret, and perhaps some of those indentations might have messed it up. Let's hope it just says, yay, secret found. Super duper. Okay. I'm still going to go on one more bit, and if not, I need to do more digging into this error, but I'm just not really sure. So let's just keep going and see what happens.
I should see my secret has been created. This is something created by default with a different type, and this is our secret here. So now that we have our secrets, we can reference it inside of our deployment configuration file. So let's go back, and this is how you reference contents, specific key value, data of secret. So instead of value, we're going to say value from, and then I'm going to do secret key ref or secret key reference, and name is going to be the secret name. So this one here. And key is going to be the key in the data. I want the value of this key value pair. So I want this part of the data. So I'm going to reference it by key. So you don't have to learn it by heart, obviously, all the syntax and attribute names. Important thing here is that you know approximately how to reference it. The actual syntax you can always look up in Google or maybe from previous configuration files. But yeah, this is how you reference it. And we're going to do the same with password. So I'm going to do from, and I'm just going to copy the rest here. Remember, YAML is very strict with the indentation. Here is the same secret, but a different key. So I'm going to use password key here. And that will.
Okay, guys, so just, let's have a whirl. So we have our Mongo root password and our Mongo root username. And is that what we have called them in here? We have our Mongo root username and our Mongo root password. Okay, so let's go back to our deployment file here. And this all looks all right. Yes. So let's see what else Nana's going to do.
Will be it. So now we have the root username and password referenced from the secret, and no actual values inside the configuration file, which is good for security because you don't want your credentials in your code repository. Okay, so our deployment file is actually ready. So let's apply that. kubectl apply.
Okay, and for pig irons, I mean, it looks like we don't have a connection, but, just because I know, maybe that's just because we've accidentally created this thing twice, so I'll do kubectl, kubectl, apply, flag, Mongo, let's just auto-complete that. Because ours is a different name, I'll take out this, although that shouldn't make a difference. Let's just take it out because she's just passing the file name. Okay, so we still have this error that it cannot connect. So we're going to have to dig around and see what the story is with this. Oh my god, have we passed in the right? Is this her? Oh my god, so let's just have a look because perhaps we've passed in the wrong IP address, which I don't even know if I'm like, I probably shouldn't be sharing that bit, look. So it doesn't look like I've passed that anywhere. It looks like that literally is it, so let me see, file, open. So, secret deployment. Let's go back in here and just open up these Nginx ones and have a quick comparison. Open. Don't see anything crazy in here. As my old English teacher, well, just my teacher, he was at primary school, so he taught us everything. Like all of your classes are with the one teacher in primary school. And Mr. Delaney, what a man. If you ever see this, Mr. Delaney, absolutely love you. Like, you are just the best ever. Oh, he was such a good teacher. But he used to say, and I never, ever, ever got this. Like, I didn't even understand it until I left school, like until secondary school, like midway through secondary school, or probably even later, like graduating secondary school, going into college. I was like, wow, that's what Mr. Delaney meant. But he used to say SH1T. And if we write down SH1T, That's what I feel like saying right now. SH1T. Fucking shit, you know? I'm an adult now, so shit. No, we'll figure this out, but just absolutely hilarious. And I shouldn't be cursing, sorry, I should wash my mouth out with soap. But it was a funny time. So, right, what is going on in or around the town? The townspeople don't know. They're lost. And so's the mayor. That's me. Right, so, unable to connect. Oh, come on. Right, look, it's something really simple. I know it is, and I probably should have just figured it out before going, doesn't matter, keep your cool, keep your calm, we will figure it out. The most important thing is to just do it with a level head, because that's how you get your answer. So, take a breath and continue. Okay. So, we are calm, we are collected, we are answer seekers and finders. So, we cannot connect. Unable to connect. No connection could be made. Windows. Kubectl. With a K. Kubectl. And let's just say unable to connect to the server. No connection could be made. Windows kubectl. So, newbie dev, that sounds about right, because feeling like the ultimate newbie today. Okay, let's watch this video, because even just running this, like, well, let's just try and run it as is, but I feel like we need to pass in the name of our cluster. You know, I think this is her cluster name. But let's just try and run this anyway and see. Ay, mamma mia. So let's clear first. Then let's paste. Then let's hit enter. Okay. Okay, so let's watch the video. That's an ad. Oh no, it's just playing an ad. Okay, so let's see what this guy's gonna say. Is this on Windows? An ad already? I just looked at one, innit? Alright. I'm not going to apply, but I hope other people do, because it looks like a good cause. I hear, what, are you just going to show me a second and then show me an ad? That's not useful. I created a home variable with the same value as user profile, and it started working. It appeared to be due to Windows not having a home environment variable set. But since this variable isn't set on Windows, it cannot locate the file. Okay guys, so I'm going to follow this and just pause for a moment. I can include a link to this in the description box down below. But going into my settings and all, I just don't know whether, you know, I'll just do that offline and I'll be back in a moment and tell you if it worked. Okay? So, un momento por favor, mis amigos. Hi guys, okay, so I've been doing a good bit of digging and I'm at a bit of a loss, to be honest. I'm not really sure. I've tried to set up a VPN and stuff, that's not working. So I'm just at a bit of a loss. So it really is time now, after looking at this for so long, I am going to go and take a walk because this is something simple. I just know it is. It's something simple. Everything was going fine and we're having an error for this whole hour. And then also more time offline, pausing this video and messing about, doing things that probably aren't the solution. So I'm going to go and home in, and then as soon as I find it, I'll just start recording and or like make sure that that's included. I'm not going to just solve it and come back and go, oh yeah, that's fixed, let's go, you know, day 51. No, I'll tell you exactly how I fix it, but just to, you know, do that in due time and save that for tomorrow's video. So yeah, and we're on 55 minutes anyway as well, so it's just going to be another 5 minutes of me not knowing what I'm doing. So yes, we'll leave it there. So thanks so much everybody for joining me. If you do like the content, please do like and subscribe so more people can see the video, and it means the absolute world to me. And just have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and yeah, enjoy yourselves. And thanks so much for coming to have a look at me, Lilly Code. Thanks guys, bye.